All right. Eric
kind of mug is
Francis is with it. I thought it was there should be pluggings. Somebody, there's a big K on your mug.
It's my daughter's initial. What? Why are we going long today? What is so? I don't mind. I love chatting with you boys. I'm just curious, like what's going on? It seems like it's slow. The only exciting news to me, I mean, the expansion stuff's great, I guess. But Tiger Woods' new girlfriend. That is a big story. We got to dig our teeth into that. The people need to know about that one.
What a flex by Tiger. And then he's asking for privacy now. Good luck, champ. Good luck, champ.
Yeah, you make a post on Instagram about your new girlfriend and then you ask for privacy. You could have just left it where it is. For anybody that doesn't know, it's Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife that Tiger Woods is now dating.
She's had 5 kids. She is a bombshell. Like, I saw I wasn't familiar. Like, there's so many of them that I didn't even know this family, this Trump family. I had to read the story. Had you guys heard any of this?
No.
Because he claims that he needed to bring it out and get public with it because all the tabloids were sniffing around. First of all, I didn't even know there were tabloids left. Second of all, whoever's gossiping about this is not doing a very good job because I'd never heard a whisper. And third, dude, don't tell everyone this is what I'm doing and don't look. We're all looking now.
I don't know. I don't never really got why famous people get with famous people.
Well, first of all, this is love, and you don't know. Love, guys, love is a mysterious thing. We can't quite put our finger on why and who and when, but their kids go to school together. So, look, we all know.
Is that a true story?
The drop off.
Is that they go to they would have met at like a school pickup event or maybe at a sock hop?
At a private school or something like that.
Yeah. So that's where the obvious connection is. Now, my interaction with most moms, ladies at the drop-off area is road rage. And nothing good's ever come out of a meeting I've ever had with another lady dropping off her kids at school. But Tiger's obviously had a much different experience than I've ever had.
White Escalade or white Yukon mom drop. You can close your eyes and go to a sketch artist and draw out exactly what that mom looks like. Exactly. That we're driving the big $200,000 SUV. There is I keep this more of a podcast episode. I don't want to get canceled.
Well, no, but it's so funny dropping the kids off at school because I drive them. Our car is kind of cheery and I keep it light, but when you're passing people going no kilometers an hour and you just see like the angry mom just giving it to the kids and it's car after car after car like that, to be like, wouldn't want to be in the back seat of that thing. Mom's not happy.
Maybe they met on, they're part of the, the community association. And then they were on a fundraising committee. And then they just started hanging out. They started hanging out. It happens with hockey teams, minor hockey teams. It's like, oh, did you hear? The manager and so it's like, well, I guess they're just hanging out a lot. They had a connection.
They did a raffle, a wine raffle together, I bet. And those bring people together like nobody's business.
Back in our day, it was the chocolate sales.
Chocolate sales. Oh my God.
Covered almonds.
Well, back in my day, way back, we used to sell Christmas cakes. Like, who eats that crap? Those fruit cakes, those crappy. Each one is as heavy as a brick. Door to door. That's fundraising has come a long way. I got to tell you, like, kids, and even before you get kids, when your friends get kids, it opens your eyes up to the whole world of fundraising. And I got to tell you, a lot of the time now, it's seamless. Like, grocery cards, that's the greatest one of all time. I don't care what anybody says. That's the easiest one. I run that for my kids' hockey team. I buy that one from everybody I can. That one's easy. I got to buy groceries, right?
There's the new one in the 306 here. Maybe it's more southern Saskatchewan. Is this Hutterite bacon, and it is unbelievable bacon, and it sells Every team's doing it. Everyone is wise to it now. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know what? The price of, you guys seen the price of eggs? An egg fundraiser. That's something that could catch steam. So not to get super sidetracked, because before we get to the NHL, we talked, I got a question, a couple of things that Maz and I talked to earlier in hour one, and I'm like, we got to ask Eric about this. Do you remember Slim Goodbody? You might be a little old. Remember that TV show as a kid, Slim Goodbody, and they wore that weird suit?
Yeah, familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you were in school and your teacher rolled in the TV and the VCR or beta or whatever it was, and you got to sit and just watch videos, what, 90% chance that the teacher was hungover that day?
I never thought of that, but makes good sense to me. Like if I was a teacher, I'd have audiovisual department all over my classroom. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and tomato juice or clamato, some sort of salty drink. I'm like, leave the teacher alone. Then the other thing, I sent you two names. Text messaged you. How would you say those places? And if you don't know, we're asking people that aren't from Saskatchewan how they pronounce certain town names, and those are two of the toughest ones.
Okay, I got to go back to the text. Is it Montmar?
Yeah. Montmar.
And Delisle.
You know Delisle. Okay, good job.
I would say since Eric's from Ontario, and with that Ontario-Quebec kind of overlap and stuff like that, there's a bunch of those town names in and around, when you get close to Ottawa region and stuff like that. So I was like, that maybe wouldn't have been the toughest.
There's a Delisle outside of Ottawa?
Is that why it's going to take long today? We're going to go through a whole bunch of city names on the map?
No, but I was just talking at news here to a coworker, and then Maz hasn't heard the story. So get this hockey story, Eric. Game 2, Pee Wee AA Female Provincial Championship in Saskatoon on Saturday. My daughter's team's down 1-0. Game 2, this ref in Saskatoon clearly hates the Saskatoon team. Like, it is like, what are we watching here? So then our team's up 1-0. Our team scores in the third to go up 2-0. All of a sudden, the refs converge. Then they wave it off. Supposedly, the puck went in late, or there was call. We're like, okay, whatever. We get hosed. We're in Saskatoon. That's fine. They come down, 6 minutes left, score a legit goal. It was a fluky bounce, but it was a legit goal. Game's tied 1-1. All right, girls, we got to go. Barn is packed. All of a sudden, the refs converge. We're like, there's nothing. There's no instant replay. Like, there was a legit goal. What? They wave off the goal for them. This is a provincial final. We're like, what? We asked the coach at the end of the game. They're like, yeah, her chin strap was undone.
No.
Nice.
Never
Are
heard
you
of that
kidding
one.
me?
I've never heard of it.
You must be kidding me.
I think the coaches are sitting. The one coach must be brilliant because I think he was sitting on it. I told Maz, I won a Pee Wee City Championship because of an illegal stick call, kind of. But how is that chin strap?
So your team called it on them, and the refs had to kind of honor it?
Yep.
I don't know who I hate more, your coach or the ref. That's ridiculous.
There's one
Matt,
for you.
help me on this. Come on, help. Yeah, he's all smiles because his team benefited from it. But what if your team got hosed by it? You'd be furious right now.
Don't get me wrong. I still feel dirty. I felt dirty that 2-hour drive home. I felt dirty.
Dude,
leaving the west side.
That's awful. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's a bit of a greasy one. But
Hey,
like I said,
rules are rules. Without rules, there's chaos. Like Kramer said, without rules, there's chaos.
Rubbing is racing, and if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So,
oh my God.
Okay, I wanted to get that out, and the look on Eric's face was worth it.
That sucks.
Hey, speaking of sucks, that start of that road trip for the Flames sucked, and then turns out I watched that game on the island. What time did that start? 9 o'clock Alberta time, and they pull it out. Like talk about being gritty and how that road trip ended.
It's you got to give them credit, man. That's the first time ever the franchise has swept through New York
Wow.
That's pretty incredible time to do it, too. I mean, look, I'm still not convinced that they could pull this thing off and get into the playoffs, given the schedule St. Louis has and given that they're 4 points up. Flames have 3 games in hand, though. Blues are the hottest team in hockey right now. That's the problem with all this. But the Calgary Flames are doing a pretty good job keeping their head above water and doing it in dramatic fashion in some tough buildings and under some pretty tough circumstances. Like in that game Saturday that you're talking about, you know, the Islanders go ahead with almost just under 3 minutes left, and boy, you're thinking, oh, what a gut punch. Like, that is critical. And then they tie it 29 seconds later and win in overtime. Like, they didn't have Weegar in the lineup, their best overall player. They didn't have Backlund in the lineup. They didn't have Farabee in the lineup. It was, and all the chips were down. And, like, you know, the one thing is, it's quite amazing. And you got to give credit to the veterans on the Flames team. Like, they're not overcome by the moment, right? Like, there's a lot of pressure. This is jitters time. And if it truly was a young team, like some people think they are, then they probably succumb to that. But not only, you know, are the young guys being dragged along by the veterans, but even like when Wolf starts, he's completely undaunted by the spotlight. You know, he just went through some pretty big cities. Lots of guys want to ask him about the Calder. A lot of attention on him. The playoff race is right there. He's in the middle of all of it. He's the reason they're there. And he's not faltering at all. It's pretty incredible.
Eric, one of the things, because social media is the best, a lot of memes floating around today. Jonathan Huberdeau, 27 goals. Connor McDavid, 26 goals. And that's funny. And the other thing, too, is Dustin Wolf, it's an incredible story. And everyone seems to have written off Dan Vladar. But on this road trip, I think a lot of us can appreciate Dan Vladar is a pretty good number 2, 1B, whatever you want to call him. He's played some solid hockey when they've asked him to play. Is he, like, behind the scenes, is he just like I'm a team guy, I'll do whatever I need to? Because he's coming in, he's doing his job when he does get his starts.
Like, the Flames have a hotshot goalie in the AHL, Logan Cooley, and or not Logan, Devin Cooley. And for the first half of the season, he had like a 1.7 goals against average. Like, he was putting up Dustin Wolf type numbers in the American Hockey League. The Flames had signed him last year. I really thought this kid could be a stud, and I think they still think that. He slowed down in the second half. My point of all that is that everyone in this city has kind of been thinking, well, next year, you know, Vladar he'll move on. They won't re-sign him, and they'll bring up Cooley, and they'll have these 2 young studs, and they'll be set for the next 10 years for goaltending. I wrote a column a couple months ago saying I think they should and I think they will sign Dan Vladar to an extension. He has taken on all of the toughest assignments this season. When there's a tough back-to-back, they've had 9 back-to-backs this year, guys. Dan Vladar has played the second half of them 8 times. Like, that is a no-win situation. So you look at his record, I think he still has a losing record, but it's because he's put in these impossible situations. He's giving nights off to the real star, Dustin Wolf. It's a beautiful tandem. It works so well together, and I think they'd make a mistake if they don't keep it together next year. So to your point, I've long seen the value in Dan Vladar. I've long thought that he's undervalued, underrated, and he probably gets the short end of the stick from Flames fans here in the city. But lately, even Flames fans are coming around going, wow, without some of his great starts of late, this team's out of the playoff race. That's how crucial every start is. So, yeah, Dan Vladar is the real deal, and I think he's a tremendous backup on any team in the NHL.
Should Edmonton Oilers fans, like, is it now they should be worried? Like, they're not showing their cards, but it sounds like McDavid and Draisaitl could be out all week. Los Angeles is over top of them, and what? I think it is time to panic.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, take the injuries out of it, and then I would say, no, it's not time to panic. Like, as long as they start kind of ramping up with the last 5, 6, 7 games. But the wording from the coach today was they won't be around anytime soon. You know, they're saying week to week, but that other language, anytime soon, is kind of scary. It's a break for the Flames because we're visiting Edmonton on Saturday, my favorite road trip. Anyway,
New York,
yeah,
Edmonton,
yeah. Just got back from Florida. Florida, New York, and now I got to mix in at Northern Alberta.
Listen, I heard Connor McDavid's wife's opening a new restaurant in Edmonton. Eric, you could go there. Maybe write a little column, a little review once all is said and done. A little 1-star to 5-star.
Yeah.
Is it in the mall?
Sounds good.
It's like a food court thing?
Is it in the mall? Yeah. Chick-fil-A? Is that what she's opening? Because the kids love that. They love that one. Anyway, those guys being out for a while is scary. And the goaltending hasn't been the way it should be or the way they need it to be for the playoffs. There's a lot of reasons why I get why Oilers fans are nervous. But, with the group they have and assuming those guys are healthy enough to get into the playoffs at 100%, then I don't worry. But you just wonder if their injuries are going to be longer than even any of us think. So that's the scary part too.
I just don't and this is...
Remember this conversation.
Yeah, I know, but I just feel like there's so much put on those two guys. And that first round could be such a grind again. And I'm starting, I don't know, is Kane coming back?
No.
They don't, do they, unless it's just me, I haven't watched a ton of game and I'm not Oiler hardo. It seems like their depth is really showing, or lack of depth. Well,
maybe it's just me living here on the proper side of Alberta. You can't ever believe that it's not the ship won't get righted. They always figure it out. When you got all those number one draft picks over the years, they always seem to figure it out. Well, the last 3-4 years anyway. I would be surprised if they weren't in the conference final. I really would. And again, hey, we don't know how they could drop like a rock right now over the next couple of weeks and have a first round matchup that's really not good for them at all. And that could be the end, but I just don't see it happening. That's too good to be true in my eyes.
Well, it seems like lately, when McDavid's been out, Draisaitl has picked it up. And to me, it's the debate, who's more valuable to the Oilers, Draisaitl or McDavid? To me, I say it's Draisaitl because they've found a way with Draisaitl in the lineup to play well and to win but now that you're without both of them, obviously, you take away any team's top two superstars. It completely changes. Hey, Zach Hyman, I hope that you can carry the mail on your own because it's up to you. And beyond that, Corey Perry, is he going to be playing 30 minutes a night now? Up from his 12 to 13 that he's playing? I don't know.
They've got more depth than I think people give them credit for. Nugent Hopkins has been really good of late. Evan Bouchard hasn't had the greatest season, but he's still an absolute stud and runs, one of the best power plays in the world ever. You know what? I really like I just think that it's such a mistake to sell these guys short. Yes, those two guys are crucially important. You're right. Any team in the league loses their top two players, things change in a hurry, but they'll be back. I'm pretty sure they'll be back, and damn it, they'll be good.
I think Vancouver's cooked. What do you guys think?
It feels like it to me, and not just because they haven't played great of late. And there's so much going on in that organization, in that dressing room. It's a mess, right? We all know that. It feels like they'll be put out of their misery pretty soon here. And it's mostly because St. Louis has opened up such a gap that I'm just not sure Vancouver could possibly catch them. And to catch them, they still have to jump over the Flames. And the Flames have a game in hand on them too. So, it's starting to get pretty iffy for them. And they have a pretty favorable schedule for the next 3. I think they're visiting all the teams we just visited out east. But I don't see them making that jump.
Yeah, tonight's the Frustrated Hockey Fan Cup. The Vancouver Canucks taking on the Jersey Devils. And after watching the Jersey collapse against the Flames, Jacob Markstrom can be so good at times. But in that game, it was the bad Jacob Markstrom, the one that every once in a while, when he would start chasing stuff, and it's kind of ooh, I don't know. If they play like that, they're going to make the playoffs. They won't make it out the first round if he is as inconsistent as he was the other night against the Flames.
Well, Jersey's been sinking like a rock. Without Dougie Hamilton and Hughes, that's pretty tough sledding for any team. Again, those are two of their top three players, I would say. That's a pretty significant, maybe top four. It's just killer. And they've been sinking like a rock for the last couple months. Markstrom's back. But for Flames fans, it had to have been somewhat pleasurable to watch that game the other night when the Flames come back, beat Jersey, and then get an empty netter, and Markstrom has to sheepishly go back into the net on a game that he completely helped blow. The players afterward, I thought Huberdeau was great. He goes, "We love Marky, but boy, we love scoring on him." And I thought that was a really nice little classy but noticeable way to kind of remind everyone that he wanted out. He's the one who wanted out, and they granted him the win. Think about that trade, guys. Jacob Markstrom goes to the Devils. In exchange, the Flames get a first-round draft pick this year. They get Kevin Ball, who's playing on their top pair. He's only 24 years old. And they also open up the door for Wolf to play as many games as he played this year. Pretty good move, if you ask me.
Yeah. You were out there watching the Rangers, watching the Islanders. Montreal's hanging on. You got to know some Montreal fans that are just absolutely psychotic. In the East, and I'm not a fan of either team, but Ottawa, Montreal making it in, wouldn't that be okay?
Well, it'd be good for my network. I know that. They'd be pretty happy. So I think, let me, hold on. Where's my contract? I think I have to say, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I think it'd be great.
It's in that desk somewhere.
It's in the desk.
Yeah. No,
talking points.
I'm a fan of Ottawa. I like the way they've built and everything. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Montreal. It's too soon for them to make the playoffs. I mean, I guess every young team rebuilding can really benefit from the experience of at least going one round. But it seems like they're still in over their head for something like that to me.
What was your sense of the Rangers watching them and being there?
Well, you think the Vancouver is a mess right now. It's all of that, but without the drama leaving the dressing room. Like, there's stuff going on in there that's got to be significant because it's a mess. Nobody can put their finger on why that team is anywhere but near the top of the league. Like, all year long, it's been like that. If you're a jury, you're going, what could possibly be wrong? And then he goes and adds Miller and, a sublime talent and leader like that, and they still. So the other day against Vancouver, they got one shot on goal in the first period. They were booed off the ice. The Rangers fans booed them off the ice. Second period, I think they had 3 shots and booed off the ice again. And then they come back and score 4 in the third period and win the game. Can someone figure this team out? Can they figure themselves out? Again, nobody's scared of the Rangers. I'll give you one team that's 4 and done if they make the playoffs. That's the Rangers.
So Saturday, watching the Habs take on the Colorado Avalanche. And keep in mind, if you think Montreal's over their skis and they're just punching above their weight at the moment, they were playing some pretty up-tempo hockey, keeping up with Colorado. And I'm like, this is good. And then you watch it go into overtime and then into the shootout. Montreal maybe is a team that nobody wants to play. That Colorado team, now that the trades, they've got it together, would they be one of the more dangerous teams in your mind in the West?
Oh, my God, yeah. I think down the middle, they went from being, of all the contenders, I thought that they were probably had the thinnest lineup until the trade deadline. And now I think they're right there with anybody else. By adding 2 high-impact centers, they go 4 deep down the middle, which is the most important position, in my opinion, in the playoffs, goaltending aside. And I just think that what they did there is I think it's scary, the depth they have there now. And I didn't say that 2 months ago. So, no, Colorado is one of the scariest teams in the West for sure. They have to be ranked, 2 or 3 in the West? I don't know. It depends how you look at it. Winnipeg's the class of the West right now, but, is Dallas second or is Colorado second? I'm not sure. Vegas is tough to deny. Outside of that, I'm not sure many teams scare me, but there's kind of a 3 or 4 horse race there in the West. If you ask me.
I just still for some reason feel like Los Angeles is that sneaky team this year. I don't know. Okay, before I let you go, check your phone again. I just sent you 2 other ones that people have been texting in on 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line. Okay, the 2 town names. Can you pronounce those?
Is that Ben Go?
Ben Goff. Yeah.
Ben Goff.
Ben Goff.
And Forget.
Yeah. Forget's a tough one. Good job, Eric Francis.
Tell you what, you know what? All your life they tell you, trust me, taking French in school will pay off. Trust me, and nobody believed them. And now, right here, at advanced age on Saskatchewan radio, it paid off.
Like Slim Goodbody. All the stuff we learned back in the day was good. All right, you guys have fun on Wednesday. Thanks. There it is. Oh, if you're watching the stream,
that's disturbing.
What
that is so disturbing.
Did somebody check that guy's floorboards?
The perm is more disturbing than the costume. Okay.
That looks like Richard Simmons' brother.
It does.
Oh my God.
Have I ever told you the story? I was at a radio convention once. This was really bizarre. It was in Dallas, Texas in the early 2000s. And the 2 guest speakers on one day within an hour of each other, number 1 was a young punk who had just sold broadcast.com named Mark Cuban. And then the guy following up after him was Richard Simmons.
Oh my.
He led everybody through like a 40-minute in a giant hotel ballroom, like jazzercise session. It was the most bizarro thing. Rest in peace, Richard Simmons.
Did you know?
All right.
Yeah. He does look like Richard Simmons' brother that just couldn't quite make it down south. They brought him up to CBC. Yeah. Did you know Mark Cuban's grandpa invented the Cuban lunch? That little treat?
That is not true.
It is not. All right, Eric.
Erroneous.
Have fun with Maz on Wednesday. Talk to you next Monday.
Au revoir.
Do your chin strap up.
Yes. Slime ball.
Strap up.
There's a story for you. NHL Insider Eric Francis for Southie Mainline Chrysler.